Eli Navarro walked down the long road that led into Westbridge, his old hometown, with a quiet kind of confidence that was not loud or showy. It was the confidence of someone who had stood on alien soil, who had spoken to creatures made of crystal and light, who had watched the sunrise on a planet with 2 moons. But as he walked closer to the familiar buildings, he felt a strange twist in his chest. The battles he had fought in space were easier to name, easier to understand, than the heavy silence that settled on him now. Coming home after years in the Terran Interstellar, Coors felt like landing on a new planet all over again. Air smelled the same like warm cement and cut grass on the old. Houses still had the same chipped paint he remembered. But everything else felt different. People looked at him for one moment too long, as if trying to guess what a soldier looked like on the inside. Some nodded politely. Others whispered to each other, probably sharing rumors they had heard online about the young space soldier from Westbridge. But Eli was not interested in their stares. He just wanted a simple life, something normal after years of alarms, foreign skies, and the quiet hum of starship engines. When he reached his house, the door opened before he could knock. His mother pulled him into a hug so tight he almost forgot to breathe. She had always been small next to him, but now she seemed even smaller. Maybe he had changed more than he had realized. "I'm so happy you're home," she said, brushing a bit of dust off his shoulder like he was still a boy. "Me too." "Mom," he answered softly. Inside the house felt frozen in time. The same photos on the wall, the same cushions on the couch, the same little kitchen window with the plant that never grew, no matter how many times his mom watered it. Eli sat on his old bed and let out a long breath. For a moment, he felt at peace. But that peace did not last long. The next morning, stood in front of the mirror wearing the Westbridge High uniform, the one he had not worn since he was 16. It felt strange on him. Too small for what he had become. But rules were rules, and if he wanted to finish his interrupted education, he had to return to school like everyone else as he walked to campus. He heard the familiar sounds, students laughing, sneakers hitting pavement, teachers calling out for people to hurry. But beneath those normal sounds was something else, a soft mechanical hum only he could hear. His implant, a tiny piece of Xenotech placed behind his ear after an injury. During a mission on Kepler Prime, the doctors had said it would help regulate his neural balance and improve his reaction time. It was not a weapon, not dangerous, still something no one else at this school had. He reached the entrance just as the bell rang. A few students stared at him, whispering to each other. One sophomore pointed and said, "Is that him?" "The space guy." Another said, "He looks so serious." Eli gave them a small nod before moving on. Inside the hallway, the noise jumped to life lockers slamming open and shut, people shouting greetings, the smell of perfume and cafeteria food mixing in the air. Eli tried to blend in, but he knew he never really could. His posture was too straight. His steps were too controlled. His eyes scanned the hallway with the habit of someone trained to observe everything. Then a familiar voice behind him said,
"Oh, Eli."
He turned and saw Maya Chen, his childhood friend. The smile that spread across her face made something warm settle in his chest. "You're back. And nobody told me? I had to hear it from 3 different people arguing about whether you fought aliens with your bare hands." Eli gave a small laugh. "I didn't. And that's exactly what I told them," she said, linking her arm with his. "Come on, I'll walk you to class." Maya was one of the few people who always felt easy to be around. She talked a lot, but in a way that filled the silence without drowning it. As they walked, she updated him on everything he had missed, who started dating, who broke up, which teachers retired, which new ones everyone warned about. But her voice lowered when she said, "And Trent's still here." Eli paused. "Trent Mallory." "The same." Maya's expression tightened. "He thinks he runs the place now." Trent Mallory. Eli's old bully. The guy who had once shoved him into a locker and laughed when Eli didn't fight back. Eli had been quiet then, not weak, just not interested in useless fights. But Trent never understood people like that. He only understood the kind of power he could see. Eli felt a flicker of something, not fear, not anger, just awareness. He thought he had left all forms of conflict behind when he stepped off the starship. But maybe some battles waited no matter where you went. Maya squeezed his arm lightly. Don't let him bother you. You've changed. Honestly, you look like you could lift a house if you wanted to. Eli smiled a little. I don't plan to lift any houses. But Maya's comment wasn't wrong. The training he had gone through had reshaped him physically, mentally, even the way he breathed. Still, he wanted a peaceful life. He wanted to sit in class, take notes, finish his homework. That he wasn't someone who had once negotiated with alien generals. Their first class was history. When Eli walked in, the room went silent for a moment. The teacher, Mr. Reeves, froze mid-sentence. Then he cleared his throat and said, yes. Welcome back, Eli. Please take a seat. Eli nodded and took a spot by the window. Maya sat beside him. A few students kept glancing at him throughout the lesson. He tried to focus on the textbook, but the words felt strangely small compared to the things he had seen. During lunch, Eli walked through the courtyard and sat under a tree. He preferred the quiet, but his peace was cut short when shadows fell across him. He looked up, Trent Mallory. Taller than before, broader, with the same smirk that said he believed the world belonged to him. Well, Trent said. Look who crawled back to Earth. Eli stayed calm. Hello, Trent. You think you're some kind of hero now? People say you fought monsters, aliens, whatever, leaned closer. But here, you're just the kid I used to shove around. Eli looked him in the eyes, his voice steady. I'm not here to fight anyone. Trent frowned, annoyed that Eli wasn't reacting the way he expected. Yeah, we'll see about that. He walked off with his friends, laughing loudly. Eli watched them go. Not with fear, but with thought. Trent was not the kind of enemy he was used to. He was loud, messy, unpredictable. In space, threats were clear. But on Earth, especially in high school, conflict took new shapes. Maya found him a few minutes later. What did he want? Nothing important, Eli said quietly. But the truth rested heavy in his mind. He was a soldier who had faced storms of plasma fire and stood in peace talks with alien leaders. Yet somehow, returning to high school felt like stepping onto the most complicated battlefield of all. That night, back in his room, Eli sat by the window and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there were planets he had walked on, beings who respected him, missions that had shaped him. Here on Earth, people only saw the surface. But maybe that was okay. Maybe this new chapter of his life would teach him something the battlefield never could. As the moon rose high, he felt a quiet determination settle in him. He had returned not as the scared boy Trent once mocked, but as someone who had survived the vastness of space. Whatever challenges came next told Bullies new expectations. The strange rhythm of normal life, he would face them with the same steady strength. He carried through every mission, and somewhere deep inside, his neural implant hummed softly, like a distant reminder that his journey was far from over. The warrior had returned home. But the real challenge was only beginning. Lee Navarro woke the next morning with a strange heaviness in his chest. It was not fear, not sadness, but something he could not name. Maybe it was the fact that his first day back at Westbridge High had felt more exhausting than any mission he had completed in the Terran interstellar cores. It was strange how walking through school hallways, listening to gossip and avoiding unnecessary trouble felt more difficult than surviving alien storms. But he pushed the feeling aside and prepared for another day. The morning light spilled into his room, touching the small things he had collected over the years. A photo of him and Maya as kids. His old backpack. The folded uniform from his time in the corps kept neatly at the back of his closet. It felt almost unreal that he had been part of something so large and now was back in a world that seemed so small. He wondered if he could ever truly fit in again. He walked to school with steady steps, trying to blend into the normal rhythm of the town. Students passed by him, whispering again, their eyes filled with curiosity. Some gave him a quick smile. Others avoided looking directly at him, like he carried some strange energy they could not understand. Maybe he did. Maybe he carried too much of the galaxy inside him. Maya found him before he reached the gate. She waved excitedly, her long ponytail bouncing behind her. "There you are." "I thought you overslept," she said. "I was just thinking," Eli replied. "You always think too much," she teased, nudging him lightly. "Come on, today will be better than yesterday." Eli wasn't sure if that was true, but he appreciated her optimism. It grounded him in ways he did not fully understand. They walked through the crowd together, and for a while things felt normal. But normal never stayed long around Eli. Not anymore. Near the lockers, Trent Mallory stood with his usual group. He saw Eli immediately. A spark of irritation lit his eyes. Trent hated anything that made people admire someone else more than him. Eli's quiet presence was enough to annoy him. "Well, look who decided to show up again," Trent said. "It's loud enough for everyone around to hear." Eli kept walking, not giving him the reaction he wanted. But Trent moved in front of him, blocking his path. "I wasn't finished talking," Trent said. Eli stayed calm. "I heard you. I just didn't think I needed to respond." A small group formed around them. Students waited, eager for drama. Eli didn't want this. He didn't want conflict. He only wanted to pass through the day without trouble. Trent stepped closer. "You think you're better than me now? Just because you flew around in space?" "I don't think anything like that," Eli said gently. "I'm just trying to get to class." Trent's jaw clenched. He hated that Eli wasn't scared of him. He hated that Eli looked stronger, calmer, and older in a way he couldn't understand. Most of all, he hated that the crowd seemed to respect Eli without him even trying. "You're not special," Trent said. "You're still that same loser from before." Maya stepped between them. "Leave him alone, Trent."
Aft.
"Look, his guardian speaks." Eli touched Maya's arm lightly, a silent gesture telling her not to escalate things. "It's fine," Eli said. "Let's go." He walked past Trent this time, and surprisingly, Trent let him. But the look in Trent's eyes made it clear the situation was far from finished. There was something brewing inside him, something that would not settle easily. Classes went on as usual, but Eli felt a tension in the air. People kept staring at him. Some asked harmless questions about space travel, about alien languages, about starships. He answered politely, keeping things simple. He didn't want to talk about the harder parts, the loneliness of space. The moments when he wondered if he would ever see Earth again, the friends he had lost during missions. Those memories stayed locked inside him. At lunch, he found a quiet corner to sit in. He preferred it that way. Noise felt overwhelming sometimes. The cafeteria echoed with chatter, laughter, and the sound of trays being dropped on tables. Maya found him again. "You okay?" she asked. "I'm fine. Just thinking." Again, she teased lightly before sitting down beside him. For a few minutes, they ate in silence. It felt peaceful, but peaceful moments were rare. A sudden buzzing noise shook Eli from his thoughts. It wasn't a phone. It wasn't the cafeteria lights. It came from inside him, from the implant behind his ear. A soft pulse vibrated through his skull. A coded signal, one he hadn't heard in months. Eli froze. Maya noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" "It's nothing," Eli said quickly, but his voice lacked conviction. The implant pulsed again. A message. A warning. A call. His heart tightened. There was only one being who could send that signal. SERIN-9. An alien ally made of crystalline matter. Someone he had saved during a dangerous mission. Someone who had promised that if they ever needed help, they would send this exact signal. Why now? Why here? Eli stood up slowly. "I have to go." "Where?" Maya asked, confused. "I just need some air. I'll be back." He walked out of the cafeteria and headed toward the back of the school where fewer people went. The implant pulsed faster, guiding him like a quiet compass. He followed the signal across the empty practice field. Past the old gym and into the narrow space behind the storage building, there, hidden in the shadow of the wall, was a faint shimmering light. It flickered like a small star trapped on Earth. Eli approached slowly. "Seren-9," he whispered, The light brightened, then reshaped itself into a form tall, slender, and crystalline. Glowing softly with shifting colors, Eli Navarro, the being said in a smooth, echoing voice only he could hear clearly. Eli felt a wave of relief and worry at the same time. "What are you doing here?" Saranine shifted, its crystal edges dimming with unease. "I am being hunted," Eli's breath caught. "By what?" "A scout drone of the Orcs faction," Saranine said. "It followed me through a breach. I hid here because I knew you were on this planet." Eli felt the heaviness in his chest deepen. Trouble had followed him home. The war he thought he left behind had touched Earth. "Is the drone here?" Eli asked. "Yes," Saranine said. "It searches for me. If it finds me, it will mark this world as a target for invasion." Eli rubbed his forehead. He had wanted a normal life. He had wanted quiet days and simple worries. But fate had other plans. "We need to keep you hidden," Eli said. Before Saranine could reply, footsteps echoed nearby. Eli turned sharply. It was Trent. He stood there with a confused and suspicious expression. "What the hell is this?" Eli stepped in front of Saranine instinctively. "Trent, go back." Trent frowned. "You're hiding something." "I knew it. Everyone keeps talking about your alien missions, but I didn't think you'd actually bring one here." Eli didn't answer. He couldn't explain, not now, not here. Trent's eyes narrowed. "I'm telling everyone, you're not the hero people think you are. You're dangerous." Turned and stormed off. Eli closed his eyes for a moment. Things had just become worse. Much worse. Soraya Neen's voice was calm but worried. "Humans misunderstand what they fear." "I know," Eli said. "But Trent isn't just scared. He's angry and he wants people to believe the worst about me." "And the danger is double," Saranine replied. "One from the Vorix drone, and one from this human." Eli nodded slowly. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing on him from all sides. He had thought the biggest challenge of returning home would be dealing with old memories and fitting back into school. But now his world had collided with the threats of the galaxy again. He had no choice but to face both. Eli took a deep breath, feeling the steady beat of his heart. Whatever came next, he would protect Saranine. He would protect his school. He would protect his planet. He had been a soldier once. Maybe he needed to be one again. Eli Navarro walked through the empty sports field after school. Feeling the weight of the day settle heavily on his shoulders, the encounter with Saranine had shaken him, but it was Trent seeing them that worried him even more. Saranine could hide, could shield itself, could change form if needed. But Trent had a mouth that never rested, and he loved attention more than anything else. Eli knew that if Trent started talking, the whole school would believe him, even without proof. Fear spread faster than truth. Eli looked around the field to make sure he was alone. The sun was sinking behind the trees, turning the sky orange. A soft wind carried the smell of freshly cut grass. Everything looked peaceful, but Eli could feel danger crawling beneath the surface. Silent and creeping, his implant pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. It wasn't danger, it was Saranine trying to reach him. Eli walked toward the old storage building behind the gym. It was quiet there, away from cameras and students. When he got close, the air shimmered softly, and Saranine stepped out of a thin layer of light, its crystal body reflecting the sunset. "You came quickly," Saranine said, its voice calm but edged with worry. "I had to," Eli replied. "We need a plan. Trent saw you, and he won't stay quiet." Saranine's colors dimmed. "This is unfortunate. Humans can be unpredictable," as Eli said, "especially that one." Saranine tilted its head slightly, creating a soft ringing sound. "There is something more pressing. The Vorix drone has entered the town." Eli's heart tightened. "Here, on Earth." "Yes. It is scanning for my energy signature. It will find me eventually." Eli took a step back and ran a hand through his hair. He had seen Vorix drones before. They were small, but deadly, designed to track targets with frightening accuracy. If it found Saranine, it would send a signal back to its masters marking Earth as a vulnerable world. "We need to move you somewhere safer." Eli said. It is not that simple, Scifi replied. The drone is already close. It may even be watching now. Eli looked around sharply, scanning the distant trees, the rooftops, the shadows moving with the wind. His senses sharpened, trained by years of missions across distant worlds. His implant hummed again, this time with a warning signal. We're being watched, Eli whispered. Across the field, a small metallic shape darted behind a row of bushes. Too smooth, too fast. Not human, the drone. Before Eli could speak, Scifi grabbed his arm. It has seen me, it said. Eli felt adrenaline surge through him. Then we run. And they did. They sprinted across the field just as a sharp beam of blue light shot past them, hitting the ground with a sizzling sound. Dirt flew into the air. Eli felt his heart hammering in his chest. This wasn't a battlefield on a faraway planet, this was his school. They reached the back entrance of the building and slipped inside. The hallway was dark and empty. Eli pressed his back against the wall and listened. Footsteps, but not mechanical. Human. Eli turned the corner and nearly bumped into Maya. There you are, she said, breathless. I've been looking everywhere. What happened? You ran out of lunch so fast. Eli grabbed her shoulders gently. Maya, listen. You need to leave. Go home. Right now. She frowned. Eli, what's going on? Why are you acting like this? Before he could answer, the building shook slightly. A distant metallic screech echoed through the hall. Maya's eyes widened. What was that? Eli hesitated for only a second before telling the truth. It's an alien drone. It's hunting Scifi. Maya stared at him, then at Scifi, who had softened its glow to a gentle dim light. So, it's real, she whispered. Very real, Eli said. And it's dangerous. Expression shifted from fear to determination. Then you're not doing this alone. Eli opened his mouth to argue, but Maya's look was strong and steady. He remembered that she wasn't someone who ran from problems. Fine, he said, but stay close. They moved quickly through the hallway, trying to stay quiet. Scifi walked with a sound like soft glass tapping lightly on stone. The drone's mechanical hum grew louder. Eli's implant buzzed again, warning him, it's near. Scifi said. They turned down another hallway, heading toward the observatory room at the back of the school. It had only one door and small windows. Easy to defend if needed, but when they reached the door, Eli stopped. Voices came from inside. Did you hear that noise? A boy's voice said, Maybe a janitor dropped something. Another voice replied. Eli recognized them, Trent Mallory and two of his friends. Eli closed his eyes. Of all the places they could be, they had chosen this room, Maya whispered. We need another place. Eli shook his head. There's no time. The drone's hum grew louder. It was close. Very close. Eli opened the door and stepped inside. Trent stood near a table, holding a metal rod, probably from some equipment he had taken apart. When he saw Yulin's Scifi, his jaw dropped. What is this? Trent shouted. You brought it here? Into the school? No time, Eli said. We have to lock the doors now. Trent stared at him like he had lost his mind. Why would I listen to you? The answer came in the form of a sharp blast of blue light hitting the doorframe. Trent stumbled back, eyes wide. What was that? Eli slammed the door shut. The thing I'm trying to protect all of you from? Eli pushed a heavy table against the door. Maya helped immediately. Scifi created a faint shimmering barrier near the window. Trent and his friends stood frozen for a moment before joining in, shoving chairs and equipment to help block the entrance. What does it want? Trent asked, voice shaking. It wants Scifi, Eli said. And if it finds them? One of Trent's friends asked. Then Earth gets marked as a target for invasion. Eli said simply. Trent stared at him, shocked. This was the first time he had seen Eli not as someone he used to bully, but as someone who knew serious things. A loud metallic clang hit the door. Everyone jumped. The drone was trying to break in. Scifi stepped forward. It is strong, but small. It will break through eventually. Eli scanned the room. The observatory had old equipment, radio receivers, satellite parts, wires, a dusty control panel connected to the old dish on the roof. Eli pointed toward it. If we overload the dish, we can create an interference field. It can confuse the drone's sensors for long enough to escape. Maya nodded. I can help with the wiring. Trent frowned. Why would I help you? Another clang hit the door, this one harder, bending the metal. Because Eli said, looking at Trent, if we fail, we all die.
Oh.
Trent turned pale, then rushed to help. They worked together fast, Maya, connecting wires. Trent holding panels steady, Eli adjusting power levels. Sarah 9 stood near the door, creating small energy waves to slow the drone. The drone cut through a corner of the door. A sharp metal limb slid through the gap. It's breaking in. One of Trent's friends yelled, almost done. Maya shouted. The drone sliced through more metal. Its sensor eye glowed bright red dot. Eli placed the final wire in place. Now, Maya hit the button. The dish outside hummed loudly. A wave of static energy filled the air. Lights flickered. The drone twitched violently, sensors going wild. It let out a high-pitched, metallic screech and jerked backward away from the door. It's working, Trent shouted. Sarah 9 glowed brighter. Its senses are confused. We must leave now. Eli nodded and pushed open the window. Go. Everyone climbed out one by one. The drone, still struggling, slammed into the wall inside the observatory but couldn't track them. They ran across the field until the hum faded behind them. When they finally stopped to breathe, Trent looked at Eli differently. No anger, no mockery, just confusion and respect. What are you? Trent asked quietly. Eli wiped sweat from his brow. Human, just like you. Sarah 9 stepped forward. And today, you all proved something. Humans are stronger than they appear. Not because of power, but because they help each other in times of danger. Trent looked away, ashamed. I didn't help because I liked you.
I know.
Eli said. But you still helped. The wind blew softly. The sky darkened. And Eli realized the real battle wasn't just with the drone, it was with the fears, misunderstandings, and broken trust on his own planet. But today had changed something. Today. They had survived together. The air around the school felt heavy the next morning, as if the world itself sensed that something dangerous had passed through its quiet streets. Students talked in whispers. Teachers walked faster than usual, and even the wind seemed to move differently. No one knew what had happened the night before, but something in the atmosphere had changed. And people felt it without understanding it. Eli Navarro walked through the school gate with a calm expression, but inside, his mind was not calm at all. He could still see the drone's glowing sensor, still hear the metallic screech as it slammed against the observatory door. He could still feel the rush of fear and adrenaline that had carried them through the escape. He had slept very little. Sarah 9 remained hidden in the abandoned storage room behind the gym, where Eli had created a safe space using old blankets and metal scraps to block energy readings. It wasn't perfect, but it would hold long enough for them to think as he reached his locker. Maya appeared beside him, holding a notebook but not opening it. Did you check on Sarah 9 this morning? She asked quietly. Yes, Eli said. They're stable. But the drone is still out there. It pulled back last night, but it wasn't destroyed. It will try again. Maya nodded slowly. What about ... Trent? Eli's expression shifted slightly. I don't know. His whole view of the world changed in one night. It will take him time to understand it. Maya leaned against the lockers. I still can't believe we all survived that. Eli looked at her. We did because we worked together. Even Trent. And he still hates you, she added. Maybe, Eli said softly. Or maybe he just doesn't know who I am anymore. Before she could reply, the crowd parted slightly, and Trent walked toward them. He did not look angry. He looked uncertain something no one had seen from him before. Trent stopped a few feet away from Eli. His friends stood behind him, looking uncomfortable. Can we talk? Trent asked. Maya immediately stepped closer to Eli, as if to shield him. Eli touched her arm lightly, signaling that it was okay. Double quotes, yes, Eli said. We can talk. Trent cleared his throat. His voice was unusually quiet. What happened yesterday? I don't know what to think. I mean, I saw that thing. I saw you fight it. You didn't freeze. You didn't run. You just knew what to do. Eli studied his face. I've faced things like that before. I know, Trent said, looking down. And I always thought you were weak. But last night, you were strong. Really strong. Eli didn't respond. Trent wasn't done. I don't get it, Trent said. Why didn't you let me get hurt? After everything I did to you, you could have just walked away. Eli shook his head. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. Trent looked confused. But I hurt you, and I forgave you, Eli said simply. Silence fell. Trent looked like someone had pulled the ground from beneath him before he could speak again.
Alice.
Implant buzzed sharply. A warning .serin-9. Eli looked at Maya and Trent. Something's wrong, as Trent stepped forward. The drone again? Maybe, Eli said. I have to go. Maya grabbed her bag. We're coming with you. Trent hesitated, then nodded. Me too. The three of them hurried across campus, moving fast but trying not to draw attention. Eli led them to the back of the gym, to the hidden door he had reinforced with metal scraps. He knocked softly. Serenine. The door slipped open with a gentle sound, and Serenine emerged. Their crystalline body dimmed with stress. Maya gasped softly, even after seeing them yesterday. It was still strange to witness a being made of light and crystal. Serenine's voice echoed softly. The drone has activated a new scan pattern. It will find me within the hour. Then we need to move you, Eli said. Where? Maya asked. Eli looked toward the old observatory in the distance. It was damaged from last night, but it still had equipment metal wires. Shielding materials. Back to the observatory, Eli said. It's the only place with enough tools to build a stronger barrier. Trent frowned. But won't the drone go there again? Yes, Eli said. That's why I need all of you. Trent's friends shifted nervously, but Trent straightened his shoulders. Okay, tell us what to do, Eli nodded. Something like respect passed between them. They moved quickly across the field. Eli stayed alert, scanning the sky and the shadows. His implant buzzed again faster this time. It knows we're moving, Eli said. SCRI-9's body brightened. It is tracking my energy trail. Then we need to break the trail, Eli replied. He spotted a metal sprinkler pipe near the field. He broke it off cleanly with one hit, surprising Trent. Use this to spread the signal, Eli said, tapping the pipe. If we hit the ground in different places, it will confuse the drone's reading. Trent nodded. Guys, spread out. For a few minutes, they struck the ground in different directions, kicking up dirt and echoing vibrations. Serenine released small, controlled pulses of energy to mix with the noise. Eli listened closely. The implant slowed, its buzzing. It worked, Eli said. Let's go. They reached the observatory entrance, just as a shadow passed overhead. The drone had hovered above the field as small. Dark shape with glowing red eyes. Scanning the earth below. Everyone inside, Eli shouted. They rushed in, closing the door. Behind them, the observatory was dim, still messy from last night. The smell of burnt wires lingered. We need to activate the interference dish again, Eli said. And this time, we make it stronger. Maya ran to the control panel. I can rewire it. But I need 5 minutes. You have 3, Eli said. Trent and his friends moved tables to block the cracks where the drone could see through. Serenine stood in the center of the room, focusing, creating a protective shimmer. A sharp metallic thud hit the roof. Then another. Dust fell from the ceiling. It's on top of us, Trent whispered. Eli nodded. It will try to cut through. Just stay focused. Maya worked fast, her hands moving with surprising confidence. Almost there. Slicing sound cut through the ceiling. A red eye peeked through the crack. Sarah 9 expanded their energy field. I cannot hold it long. Harry. Eli shouted. The drone pushed harder, cutting metal, forcing its way in. Done. Maya yelled. Eli grabbed the main switch. Everyone stand back. He slammed the switch down. The room filled with a wave of static energy. The old dish outside roared to life, vibrating with power. The walls shook. Lights flickered. The drone screeched, its sensors scrambling. It fell from the ceiling and crashed onto the floor, twitching violently. It's stunned. Trent shouted, "No," Eli said, stepping toward the drone. It's still sending a signal. Sarah 9 came forward, glowing brighter than ever. I can counter it. But I will need help. Eli placed both hands on Sarah 9's surface. Tell me what to do. Sarah 9's energy flowed into him. His implant hummed loudly. His vision blurred, then sharpened. Together, they sent a controlled energy pulse that shot straight into the drone. The drone shivered, its red eye dimming, its metal frame cracking. Then it stopped moving. Silence filled the room. Eli stepped back, breathing hard. Is it done? Sarah 9 nodded slowly. The signal was cut. The Orcs will not receive the location. Earth is safe. Everyone let out a breath they didn't know they were holding. Trent sat against the wall, exhausted. I can't believe we did that. Eli looked at him. You helped save this planet. All of you did. What? Trent's eyes lowered. I was wrong about you. Eli smiled softly. Maybe now you know me a little better. Trent nodded, almost ashamed, but also relieved. Maya stepped forward and placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. You did it. You saved all of us. Eli shook his head. We saved each other. Outside, the sun began to rise again, warm and calm, as if the world had never been in danger. But Eli knew something had changed forever. Not just with the drone, not just with Sarah 9, but with the people around him. For the first time, he felt like he truly belonged on Earth again. The morning after the battle with the drone felt strangely peaceful. The sky was bright, the air warm, and everything in the small town seemed normal again. Birds sang, students walked to school half asleep, and cars moved slowly through the streets. No one would ever guess that the world had nearly been exposed to an alien threat the night before. But for Eli Navarro, nothing felt normal anymore. He walked quietly toward school, his backpack hanging loosely from one shoulder. His thoughts were heavy, filled with images of the broken drone, the sparks from the interference dish, and Sarah 9's glowing form dimming with exhaustion. He had slept for barely 2 hours, his mind too full to rest, when he reached the schoolyard, spotted Maya waiting near the main door. She waved him over immediately. Hey, she said, studying his tired face. Rough night? Couldn't sleep, Eli admitted. Too much to think about. Maya nodded sympathetically. Sarah 9, okay? Better, Eli answered. But they need time to recover their energy. They're hiding in the observatory again. Maya lowered her voice even more. Do you think more drones will come? Eli shook his head slowly. Not soon. We shut down the signal before it reached the Orcs. For now, Earth is safe. Maya exhaled with relief. Good. Before Eli could say more, Trent arrived, walking toward them with an uncertain expression. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by something quieter, something human. Morning, Trent muttered. He kicked a pebble on the ground, looking awkward. You to sleep at all? Maya crossed her arms. Not really. Eli gave him a small nod. You okay? Trent ignored the question at first, staring at the ground. I've been thinking about everything. Last night, you saving my life? Me being a jerk for years? Eli waited patiently. Finally, Trent looked up. I want to talk after school. Just you and me. I need to say some things. Eli studied him for a moment. Trent's posture, his voice, everything about him seemed sincere. Okay, Eli said. Trent exhaled, relieved. Good later, then. He walked off toward his friends, who looked confused when he didn't shove Eli into a locker or laugh at him like usual. Maya raised an eyebrow. Looks like he's changing. Eli looked at Trent's back. Yeah, he whispered. Maybe we all are. When classes began, Eli tried to focus, but his mind kept drifting. His implant buzzed slightly from time to time, not with danger, but with echoing energy from Sarah 9, a reminder that they were nearby. Recovering during lunch, Maya sat with him under a tree behind the cafeteria. Students passed by, laughing and talking. Unaware of the strange history unfolding just a few feet away, Maya pulled out her notebook. We should plan what to do next. Eli frowned. Next? Yes, Maya said. Sarah 9 is alone. Their ship is destroyed. Their people might think they're dead. They need help. And you. She hesitated. You're different, Eli. You're not just a student anymore, Eli sighed. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want more battles. Yeah, touched his hand gently. Wanting peace doesn't make you weak. Before Eli could respond, his implant buzzed sharply. Not danger-summoning. Sir, 9 sir. Stood quickly. I have to go. Maya got up too. I'm coming with you. They reached the observatory in minutes. The old metal door groaned open, and inside, Sarah 9 hovered weakly near the center of the room. Their crystal-like body flickered like a dying lantern. Eli Navarro, Seren 9 said, their voice softer than usual. There is something I must tell you. Eli stepped closer. What's wrong? Serenan's light dimmed further. My energy core is unstable. The interference dish drained more power than I expected. I will fade completely within hours unless I find a source to replenish myself. Maya gasped. No, you can't disappear. What kind of energy do you need? Eli asked quickly. Saren 9 glowed faintly. Stellar radiation. The light of a star. My people absorb starlight as nourishment. Eli's eyes widened. But there's no access to that here. The observatory roof is metal, and even if we remove it, there is one possibility, Serenine said. A star chamber. A small device inside my ship that creates artificial starlight. If the wreckage still remains, the chamber may also remain. Eli exchanged a glance with Maya. Where is the crash site? Eli asked. Saren 9 looked toward the mountains beyond the town. 10 miles east. Hidden in the forest, Eli nodded sharply. Then we go now. The forest trail was rough, but Eli moved with purpose. Maya followed close behind, and Sarah 9 hovered weakly between them. Their glow dimming with every passing minute. After nearly an hour of walking, they reached a steep ridge overlooking a clearing. And there it was, the crash site of Sarah 9's ship. The wreckage was twisted and burned. Metal shards scattered across the ground. Trees around it were scorched, and smoke still rose from broken panels. Sarah 9 drifted lower. My vessel. It is worse than I feared. Eli didn't waste time. He climbed down, toward the main hall. Where's the star chamber located? Inside the central compartment, Sarah 9 said. Look for a sphere made of silver crystal. Eli reached the broken entrance. Sparks flickered from cracked wires. He ducked under a bent support beam and entered the dark interior. Maya stayed outside, watching Serenine carefully. Inside, Eli moved quickly, but carefully. His implant buzzed softly, guiding him like a compass. Finally, he reached a small room half buried under debris. There, partially crushed, but still intact, was a silver sphere glowing faintly. The star chamber, Eli whispered. He grabbed it, wincing at its heat, and pulled it free. The sphere pulsed, responding to his touch. When he climbed out of the wreckage, Maya gasped with relief. You found it, she said. Saren 9 drifted forward weakly. Place it before me. Eli set the silver sphere on the ground. The surface opened like a flower. Releasing a soft beam of pure white light, Sarah 9 inhaled sharply, their entire body brightening as they absorbed the radiation. The change was immediate. Their glow steadied. Their form grew sharper. Their voice became stronger. I am stabilizing, Serenine said. You saved me. Eli smiled faintly. We're not losing you. Not now. Maya wiped her eyes discreetly. Good, because we still need you. Serenin turned to Eli. Eli Navarro. I must speak with you alone. Maya stepped back slightly, giving them space. Sarah and Nine floated closer to Eli, their glow calming. You are not the same soldier who left the battlefield months ago. You have changed. You faced fear, protected your friends, and opened your heart again. Eli looked away. I still feel broken sometimes. Sarah and Nine shook their head gently. You are not broken. You are healing, and you have people who care for you now. Eli thought of Maya, of Trent, of the others who helped. Sarah and Nine continued. But there is one more thing you must face. Eli frowned. What? Your past? Sarah and Nine answered. The war left scars inside you. To move forward, you must accept that your strength comes not from battle, but from kindness, from forgiveness, from choosing peace even when others choose cruelty.